Hello everybody, welcome to Tato's Hardcore Media. Bringing you another video. Been out of things lately and stuff like that. Haven't had proper equipment and stuff and other things. But, well, let me tell you, uh, this stuff about mysterious drones. Um, I, I said this, I believe some of it could be a psyop. Um, where they're to close down space. They're doing this on purpose to close down airspace. I believe some of it is a psyop to close down airspace for civilians and stuff like that. Um, and some of it isn't. Um, I've seen UFOs around where I am. See on a daily basis if you look. Um, there's drones, stuff like that. Um, yeah, military installations. Um, you have traffic out here. It goes to Area 51, Edwards Air Force Base, Twin Sisters. You have a lot of installations. And then you have, other foreign technology, you have non-human technology, stuff like that. But let's get into the nitty gritty here, everybody.
She's a former special operations intelligence analyst and a drone expert.
Yay!
So my dad reached out to me yesterday because we go to Jersey on the weekends, Ocean County, and he said, "What is going on?" I said, "I'm going to ask Brett in the morning." So here, Brett, tell my dad, what do you think is going on?
Oh my God, it's difficult to say. It's all speculation at this point. Even the U.S. military research facility at Picatinny Arsenal just admitted that the drones are not theirs. So that's added to the confusion even more. And I've said it before. I've tested a ton of drones.
That you do know. That's the drone right there.
Over U.S. government installations.
It looks like a police helicopter. You know what that looks like? More like a police helicopter or a drone because of the blinking lights. And aircraft have to have, pilot, light and stuff like that. The blinking, the green one, the red, and stuff like that is standard FAA rules, stuff like that, for drones and aircraft to have that.
In partnership with the military before, and that type of secrecy is just not normal for how we would conduct business. Even if we don't explain to the locals what exactly we're doing and testing drones and why, there would still be a lot of coordination of those flights at all levels of law enforcement. And if anything got out of hand, for example, public hysteria like this operation, we would shut it down immediately.
Now this one right here, that's a bit different. I can't see it. I need a lot bigger on my big screen on thing that I got here, stuff around and stuff like that. I haven't been able to get the audio right, but this one is different. It has no blinking lights or anything, and look at the brightness around it. That would scream more UFO than human made aircraft. Haven't seen all this, but then here's this other dot right here.
But it's not stopping, and now we're even hearing more reports of drones flying over Philly now. But frankly, Dana, I don't even care at this point if it's some big U.S. government conspiracy or if this is in fact adversarial drones flying. I'm more concerned about the lack of transparency on behalf of our federal government and their inability to even want to alleviate the public's concerns at all. All they're saying is it's being investigated.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I was laughing my ass off that the government can't control everything because let me tell you, if it's not human intelligence, they can't do shit about it. And I want to see more of this. They just shut down the military and everything. Just start there and have enlightenment happen and stuff like that. I just love that. Shut all the militaries down. And say fuck you. You guys, you monkeys are fucking over the planet. there's good, bad, non-human intelligence ETs, but I just say
That's unacceptable. And these local government officials, they need to
that's a
stop
police
saying there is no
helicopter.
known threat unless they really know that. It's a disservice to the American people who are rightfully concerned, because I know firsthand the damage that drones can do. Even if the drones fly over a site for just a few minutes, do a bunch of flips and disappear in the middle of the night, the damage is already done.
Now this right here, drone motherships launch smaller drones. Those are not drones. Those are not drones, baby. No. Those are other unearthly intelligence. Usually, I mean, we could have some of that by now. Okay, most of that stuff is theirs, not human. We got some stuff too, but I don't know for sure if we can make those tesseracts. If we have ability to just shoot stuff off other drones and other entities. I'd say other intelligence. If we have the ability to spawn out other intelligence out of our re-engineered craft. I don't know. Um, all I keep thinking is that we're a bunch of monkeys, and we got so this technology we can do stuff, and so we can't. We could go to other galaxies already and stuff like that. But let me see here. But yeah, launching other stuff. Yeah, that's their speciality. It, I keep on using the wrong words. Quantum physics. It's quantum mechanics. Okay, stuff like that. Theoreticals and stuff like that, and how it might be able to explain some stuff. But
And most people don't know how much intelligence data can be collected with sensors that are attached to these drones, just even in a short flight. But what's even more concerning is I'm realizing more and more that our law enforcement doesn't even know the rules of engagement for monitoring and down.
That's you don't know this, and I do. I do know this. Is that you're not supposed to engage them. There has been orders before. I don't know if this still is, but we're not supposed to engage UFOs because they will shut your ass down. They use electromagnetic pulse types, type of bursts, and they will shut those aircraft down, and they will fall down and blow up. I know this for a fact, all right?
Rogue drones over the U.S. The average official couldn't tell you who's even in charge of that. There's too many.
I mean, a lot of pilots don't know about that, but there's some that have been told that. Do not engage. You do not engage them. They will kill you. And some of them have played with pilots and have shut off their systems. They've done it to fighter pilots. They've done it to Cessna pilots. They've done it to lots of people. They've done it to people in cars. It'll just shut down everything. So
competing airspaces and different agency equities, and the FAA, frankly, they're in charge of the confusion. It's their issue.
Whoa, baby, look at that other one right around there. That's a real UFO. This seems like a drone.
Hamstrung our law enforcement agencies, our U.S. drone and counter drone communities
for
years. I mean, look
the
at
other object. There's that other object. They did not. It's right over here. When I look at stuff, I'm looking at the whole sky and see if there's other objects around that object. Because when there's one, there's usually a lot more, and people don't notice that. I do a lot of the time. Let's see. There it is, right there. Unless it's a star or planet. But wait, was it moving?
They've hamstrung
It was
our law
moving,
enforcement.
so it's not a planet. It's not a star
agencies, our U.S. drone and counter drone community for years. I mean, look at what just happened recently with the Secret Service, for instance. They didn't even employ basic counter drone technology prior to the Trump assassination attempt, and that's one reason our president took a bullet. And if the Secret Service doesn't have the capability, you think New Jersey?
That one looks different from a drone. This one looks different from a drone right here. Different lights right there. I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be, because I've seen drones with other lights on it too. Yeah, so yeah. I need to see it for myself, but I've been tricked before, actually. Um, with drones, they use a UFO, and then after a little bit I look, it's like, I've been played. I've been played. I gotta admit that. I've been played before. So
Police Department, State Patrol.
You learn. You learn. Observing things. And you learn over time which is which. And you can always make mistakes still. It's going to happen.
Is going to have the proper systems in place to monitor this. So it's just, we got to change the whole industry. Our infrastructure is not set up to be able to counter these emerging threats that we face now.
Yeah, excellent answer. Brett,
I'm sure that made my dad feel any better.
Probably not. Brett, you know about the story several months ago about Chinese operations flying over our military bases in certain parts of the country, especially on the East Coast, and then that word got out. I'm not saying this is what that is. Give a listen, Chad Pergram.
This is another part of the Psyop in the military-industrial complex. And these people in the military that have just come out about, ATIP, Arrow, stuff like that. And the bullshit, are just about foreign technology. And they're trying to make a diversion. They say we need to have more weapons and make, our own, to create more war with Russia, China, etc., etc. It's all bullshit. I mean, they do have some technology too. But thing is, not, seems like 9% is just bullshit. That they want to just use it to militarize this technology. For monkeys to use against monkeys, pretty much. And people are very stupid to believe it. And there's a lot of people that don't believe it. But it's the stupid news that's, oh my God.
Asking House Speaker Mike Johnson about something else. Watch.
We are concerned about drones and all these new technologies and what it might mean for national security and the safety of the American citizens. So,
it's not about the American citizens. It's not about the safety of American citizens. It's not just about that. Let me tell you. The Chinese, the Russians, know all about our secret technology more than we do. They know about our non-human technology. They could go around Area 51, no problem. They could go around Area 52. They could go around Area 47, 48, 49, whatever. Different areas, the most top secret. They could do analysis on soil, on the ground, take laser technology, look at differently, and see if there's underground bases and stuff like that. Like we have stuff as well. They know they could go over at night, see us using UFO alien technology, non-human technology. They could do that anytime that they want to. It's all a bunch of bullshit, really. All of it is a scam. Bullshit that they're doing. About, making this, militarized and stuff. And look at her, she's nonchalant, like a joke or something. But I already know about this stuff.
I'm looking forward to the outcome of that hearing, and if we don't get the
thing is, with the ETs and stuff like that, like I said, it's good and bad, and we can learn a lot from them. We have, telepathy, we have psychic abilities, and it'd be nice to shut these guys down and have an age of enlightenment. But
necessary answers there, we'll dig deeper and go to the classified level.
Any thought these might be dark programs?
Dark programs!
I hope not. I don't believe.
These are dark programs! Said it. That's the GOAT. That man, put him at the top. Put him where the minister is. Put him at the top of the church. It's our duck program. I dare you to prove me wrong. If you do, I'll kill you. Anyways, these are duck programs. Duck, duck, goose program.
So, but there's a lot of investigation going on, so we'll find out.
So go ahead and define.
And old MacDonald had a farm, and this is all comes from that. Old MacDonald.
Dark program, and think about what's happening in Ukraine, and think about what some people, even Elon Musk, talking about the future for warfare, should be unmanned and should be done by way of drone. It might be a pretty simple explanation that they're in the development phase and they're doing it in places like New Jersey.
This is just bullshit that the stupid news channels are putting out. These are all lies about trying to make new weapons of mass destruction on a level that is beyond imagination. And when we do that, we already have non-human intelligent, technology, ET technology. So whatever comes next is a byproduct of that, no matter what. And they're to say, hey, they got it, now we need to make more weapons. It's all just BS. I keep on saying it over and over, but I have to keep saying it over. The stupid news stations, these idiots, do not know anything about what's going on.
It could be. Dark programs essentially are, what we call red selling, where literally we're just testing our own infrastructure, our own national security. We might be flying drones over a military base.
I gotta say, though, that non-human intelligence, though, they do have different lights that they use as well. So, we can't always assume that they're always drones, but a good amount that use different lights like that can usually be attributed to drones, but not always. So
to see how they may be able to stop that internally, but overseas,
especially if they blink like that. That's what they put. It could be atmospheric phenomenon as well, natural atmospheric phenomenon that makes it look like they're blinking, the light's blinking when they're not.
This is not a difficult thing to do. I can take a drone right now, fly it over to China, drop a bunch of drones from it, extend the range. There's a lot of different communications like Starlink that's out there to be able to do this.
Yeah, but they have technology that can down those things, and they will. So you're pretty wrong on that. They have, stuff that can take them down, and they do.
To the drone community, this is very easy to do. This is not difficult. They don't have to be sitting in New Jersey flying these drones if we're speculating that this is a foreign adversary. We are even seeing the Ukrainians right now put drones on boats, launch them from boats in the ocean.
Right.
And that's very interesting to me because that it extends the distance. And we're seeing people are talking about some of these sightings being right there on the coast. But overall, frankly, this is not an unsolvable problem. These drones are not undetectable. This is easy to figure out what's going on if the proper experts were brought in. And that's what upsets me the most. We have the technology to monitor, track, defeat this right now. Every single drone has a unique fingerprint. It's got a unique signature. It transmits
proper experts. Yeah, right.
sort of signal, and those signals tell a story. And there are a ton of countermeasures out there put in place that we could use. You could layer tactical, strategic counter drone radar systems. You can jam the frequencies of the drone. You can hijack a drone midair, take control of it. We have the ability even for drones to strike other drones now midair. We have directed energy systems that can fry a drone in the air. But we've got these archaic laws here in the US where the FAA is constantly concerned about these systems affecting.
Yeah, I believe a lot of this could be a psyop. Our own government is doing, and they're not acknowledging it, where they want to close down airspace for civilians, and they're making up this bullshit saying, you see this? We have to close airspace to civilians. Only law enforcement, military can do it now, just like in China and stuff like that. And it's not a conspiracy. All of this, it's going to happen. What?
Commercial airline communications, and I get that, but that's a very old school mentality. What's happening overseas right now is these foreign countries are light years ahead of U.S. drone technology.
No, they're not.
And we're set back 10 years behind China and Russia. So
that is bullshit. That is complete bullshit. We have stuff from DARPA, you freaking liar. DARPA and other agencies, we have a lot of stuff that puts China, Russia to shame. You're lying out of your ass, dude. You're lying out of your ass. I know it because I've seen it. And people can find it, too, themselves if they do a lot of research. I don't know if it'll be through Google or what, but Google and YouTube have some fixed stuff on what you can search and find, and so you might have to use a different search engine or something, but
it's nothing for China or Russia to send a drone over our airspace very quickly and essentially poke holes in our national security infrastructure. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing our military bases, our sensitive sites being probed.
And what they is, they're to create this fear, a psychosis of fear. This is what they do. Like, you know, with the COVID and other things, you know, the Red Scare, the 1950s, and this stuff of communism taking over, and only part of that was right. You know, there was some infiltration, but it is very highly exaggerated. And this is one of these scares, just one of these scares. It's on a bigger level. So don't believe these stupid news stations, all that stuff. And these guys from intelligence, because what they want to do is weaponize everything and create a dictatorship of, oh my God.
There's a gap right now in the administration, right, where there's this transition. So it's a perfect time to do something. And we just got to.
Don't despise, he's just on a vacation.
Get a handle on it, and our infrastructure has got to have a complete overhaul to put money into this. And the FBI just said they only have $500,000 budget for counter drone technology. That's
49 reports on Sunday. I just
ridiculous. It costs like $200,000-$300,000 for one counter drone man portable system, and you need multiple systems.
Well, we'll see what comes of these two hearings today, and what Nate has to report.
Yeah, thank you, Brett.
Yeah, terrific.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
No, it's not. Let's go on to another site right here. Here's this as well, but for that, I got this one here. So that's Lou Elizondo. We're to go see it because I want to. Let's go.
SUV-sized drones in New Jersey.
Submersible.
Dozens of reports. Seen near military bases, armories, civilian areas, over people's houses, properties owned by President-elect Trump. The FBI says they've been investigating it for a month. A month? But many, like my next guests, say the response has been tepid. What could they be, and how is this so hard to figure out? Joining us now is New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick and former defense and intel official who investigated UFOs for the federal government, Luis Elizondo. Thank you for having both of you here. I appreciate it. Senator, let me ask you, what do you make of how your requests to satisfy people's curiosity have been met by other officials?
Not very well. Either the government doesn't know anything, or the government is in a position where it's an embarrassment to the.
That looks like human re-engineered craft.
The people of the state of New Jersey, because people already come to the table with distrust of government.
That looks like human re-engineered craft that we have. Because we have to have lights like that, flicker and stuff like that for FAA and federal law reasons and stuff. They have that to discern our technology from non-human. So that looks definitely human technology.
Government. This adds to distrust. And I'm deeply concerned that people are going to come up with conspiracy theories.
Yes.
We see them on the internet all the time.
Yes.
So this doubled down, and it doubled downs on the people who make up theories and also don't trust government. So it has a.
You guys did that to yourselves. Some of us know a lot more than you idiots do. I do.
A double whammy on government.
Have they told you anything, Senator, about what to say or what to think?
The only thing I heard is Governor Murphy did a press conference while he was signing another bill, and he indicated he wasn't concerned with the safety of residents. But the residents I represent are deeply concerned that they need a lot more information than a blanket statement that it's still safe out there. That's simply not enough. We're going to have a briefing tomorrow in Trenton, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Well, you got a platform.
This guy's all others. Oh my God, man. Conspiracy, let me tell you, it's rooted in fact. Alright? A lot of us have been right. We always have been right. We already knew that there were ETs and stuff like that. And you no matter what, you guys are going to push that to militarize stuff. Make more advanced weapons to kill more humans and stuff like that. And say that it's a threat and stuff like that. And it's one huge psyop.
Platform here to tell the country what you're finding out and what you're not finding out whenever you want it.
Biden's aware? Holy shit. Fuck.
Mr. Elizondo, it's good to have you again. What's your guess on this? I mean, look, the good news is you see a lot of navigation lights on these things. You see red and greens on a lot of these, which, right, as you know, are familiar lighting that people put on drones over a certain size. What's your guess as to why there's so many over Jersey all of a sudden?
Well, Chris, surprisingly enough, it's not just over Jersey. Recently, a few weeks ago, we had a very similar issue over Langley Air Force Base, one of our most sensitive military.
Yeah, we have over nuclear bases, silos. They're all over now. A lot more over all these different bases. You know, you got Edwards, you got Plant 42 here, you got Vandenberg Again, Edwards, Area 51. You got different secret installations. You got installations underwater that we have. That we do stuff, in conjunction with ETs a bit. And they're everywhere. It's happening in China. It's happening in India. It's happening in Ukraine. It's happened in Israel. It's happening all over the world. This is just one little snippet.
Military installations. And frankly, if you look back the last 4 or 5 years, there was actually a very similar occurrence back in Colorado, where for weeks, local and state law enforcement officials were chasing these things in the skies, almost doing a racetrack pattern, and no one seemed to know what the heck was going on. Actually, this is one of the very reasons why I decided to testify before Congress a few weeks ago, because quite frankly, we don't really have control of our U.S. airspace. We don't have awareness of what are in our skies.
Do you believe that the FBI has been looking for a month and doesn't have any answer about what these are when there's so many?
Well, I've worked with the FBI in the past, and they tend to be very, very competent when they're doing investigations. I do believe they have some answers. I don't think they have all the answers yet. What further makes this more complicated, you have an issue where these things are being seen over civilian airspace, so you have jurisdictional issues, right? You have, from a federal perspective, you have FBI leading the law enforcement investigation, but you also have the Department of Defense. You have folks like the U.S. Air Force and Office of Special Investigations. You have DHS and even the FAA. And so all these federal agencies, forget about even the state and local agencies, are trying to work together and try to deconflict what's in the skies. And unfortunately, they just don't seem to have a common operating picture right now of exactly what we're dealing with.
You think they're wrong about the size?
Those are different. These are different than the drones. Of course, I'm not seeing the real close-up, but they're drones, and then these would be drones. The way that I look at these are not drones anyway. These are either re-engineered non-human technology or alien. So
you think they're wrong about the size? Because, it's not easy to find drones.
The light that's emanating from them as well. That's another. The light that's emanating from these as well.
The size? Because, it's not easy to find drones of any significant size on the commercial market.
Yeah, so here's the problem, Chris. Great point. We know that commercial drones tend to be a typical size, and they use a certain amount of power, if you will, and have a certain amount of loiter time, a certain amount of range. And typically can be anywhere between 15, maybe 20 minutes if you're lucky. And then you have to have line of sight in order to control these things. If you talk about anything bigger than that, you're really talking about a state-sponsored capability. Right. This isn't a hobbyist. This isn't a drone that someone buys, let's say, from Radio Shack or buys from Amazon. This is something far more complex that can be flown beyond line of sight, i.e. over the horizon, and has a loiter capability in some cases of several hours. And if you're talking about an SUV size or larger potentially drone, this is a problem. Look, the U.S. Navy has been reporting these types of drones, in some cases the size of cars and even bigger, for years now. And this is exactly emphasizing the point why we need to take this topic seriously.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to...
They're not all drones either. They're not all drones. That is misinformation. 6 days ago. This is sworn military bases. We're going to go here. Yes, I know who you are, you sexy beast.
And welcome to Reality Check. I'm Ross Coulthart. Or should I say, welcome to the end, the official end of what was meant to have been Alien Invasion Day. Yes, for weeks now on the internet there's been speculation that there was going to be some kind of alien invasion.
Yes, where
based
were
on a
they?
prediction that 39 days from the interview between President-elect Donald Trump and Joe Rogan, there was going to be some kind of conflict between humans and aliens.
Oh, yes.
Well, for all we know, that might actually be happening, because whilst we're talking, there is, over the skies of the world, the most extraordinary display of something, objects in our skies, the frequency of which I've never had reported to me to such an extent before. It's off the charts. It's absolutely amazing to be receiving reports, as I am hourly, minute by minute, from people in countries all over the world who are saying that they are seeing objects, strange objects, glowing luminous orbs, orange orbs, blue triangular shaped objects hovering over often sensitive military facilities. Now, of course, the biggest area of reports has been in the United Kingdom in recent weeks, and we know that over some of the most sensitive bases in the UK, RAF Lakenheath, RAF Feltwell, bases where the United States allegedly stores nuclear weapons, there have been sightings of strange drone-like craft for some time. Now, why do I say drone-like?
Why the fuck you say drones, for fucking heaven's sake? Sorry. I'm supposed to watch my language.
Like craft. Well, I only say that because intelligence community sources have been in my ear.
Because no matter what, they don't want to admit that there's extraterrestrials. They want to keep it human. And they're going to lie out their kazoos and say that they don't exist when they've been here as long as humans have.
Here for some time, assuring me that these are not aliens.
Bullshit.
They're not unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Some of them are. Some of them are.
They are reportedly, according to intelligence insiders, known foreign adversarial drones. They must be highly advanced drones based on what I'm hearing, but the claim is that they are.
I don't care what you're hearing. I don't care what these bullshitters in different governments are, because that's what they are. They're going to lie no matter what. And they're going to say that they are foreign. Yeah, foreign from another galaxy, other dimension, whatever. Alright? Some of them is from other countries, no doubt. But they're lying out of their asses and saying that this is all from another country. They are lying to.
Foreign adverse drones, foreign adversarial nation drones. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily believe everything I'm told by members of the intelligence community, and I think we're entitled to be sceptical in this case. Not least because we know from intercepted military communications before they were digitised and encrypted when they realised their comms were being monitored, some of the clever skywatchers around RAF bases in the United Kingdom picked up on the fact that at least one pilot was referring to UAPs, not drones. So
UFOs,
if the pilots
not UAPs.
themselves that are being sent up to intercept these objects perceive them as unidentified anomalous phenomena, not drones, what aren't we being told? And that rocker with concern about this unwarranted intrusion into American aerospace. And we still don't
China
know
number
what the
one.
remaining three objects
China
were
number
that were
one.
shot down over, I think there was Alaska.
Yes.
Then there was
There's
the
some
Yukon,
dead horses involved.
and then there were two parts of the United States, the main continental United States. But there's still a mystery over three of those objects. What the hell were they? We still don't know.
Drones.
Likely
Caught
to say
them
that
naked.
China has been deploying drones over sensitive British air bases is tantamount to accusing China of an act of war. And that's why we don't want to identify, that's what I'm being told at least, that's why we don't want to identify the foreign adversary nation that we suspect is involved in this. Some people are suggesting it's Russian, but my friends from Polish intelligence tell me they doubt the Russians have anything like this kind of drone technology, which appears to be able to intercept
to avoid
intercepting jet fighters.
They got some, we got some stuff. The U.S. has the most, I'd say. Anyways, I'd fast forward it because let me see here. Let's get to some real Chinese ship attack. Going to skip right here.
Add to that the fact that, don't forget, just a few weeks ago, there was a very extraordinary incident where a Chinese vessel, which is almost certainly linked to the PLA, the
People's
Chinese
Liberation Army,
was involved in dropping its anchor and dragging its anchor and snagging and severing very important internet cables in and around Scandinavia. Now, that incident still is largely unreported. It's an effective act of war by what we suspect is a Chinese army vessel, controlled at least by one crew member who is Russian. Why has there not been any attempt to board that boat? And I suspect the answer is because we don't want to provoke international tensions any more than they are at the moment. So let's put the drone issue to one side for a moment. Let's not ignore the fact that there clearly is still, separately from the drone issue, there have been for many months now, and we've reported on this in Reality Check, anomalous objects clearly identified as anomalous by pilots and military personnel operating over very sensitive military facilities, particularly in the United States. And one of the reports that we did was reports of anomalous objects being seen by locals over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. And the Air Force, of course, has persisted in maintaining that these are drones.
Yeah, those look like drones.
One shred of evidence has been presented to supply any proof at all that these are drones.
And the thing is, unless I see them breaking physics, laws of physics, and I see them going zigzagging up and down, back in triangles and stuff like that, and I've seen different types of UFOs, from different types of civilizations or whatever, because they use different kinds, is that unless I see them doing that, I'm just going to think it's a drone. And it's all speculation on that. So,
in fact, the Pentagon has conspicuously failed to provide any proof at all to back up its claim that these objects are drones. You might recall a few weeks ago I did an interview with the Tedesco brothers, John and Jerry Tedesco, who do a lot of research off Long Island, and they are, I think, probably foremost as technical experts in an understanding of anomalous objects that are being seen on very sensitive air routes in and out of JFK Airport coming into New York. And they're aware of a lot of the orbs that are now being...
That's different from a frickin' drone.
Seen in and around New Jersey, off the Long Island coast, and they continue to maintain that these objects are not drones. They do not comply. They're not consistent with any known drone technology.
Like I said, I've said this over and over. That looks like a human re-engineered ET type of craft.
They do move in anomalous ways, and what they're seeing and recording on their hyperspectral cameras and their numerous other sensor systems that they've paid for themselves, they're not US government funded, they are raising a very serious question. And I note, as this goes to air, it's just been reported on NBC that the objects are again being seen over New Jersey this evening. And that's very interesting because the FBI is now involved. The FBI has approached John and Jerry Tedesco, and I know that they are taking an interest in the New Jersey sightings as well. There are some very sensitive homes under New Jersey, including, I think, one associated with the incoming president. I wonder if that's just a coincidence. Is somebody sending a message?
Is Donald Trump an alien? Inquiring minds want to know. In my next Inquirer magazine, Instigator magazine were to go into whether Donald Trump is indeed an alien. I don't know if he'll sell any copies, but hey, we need a sensational story. And who was Biden? Was he an ET himself that regressed? I think we need to move on.
Or something sending a message. We simply don't know because our governments aren't telling us, and more importantly, our media is not curious enough to continue asking the question. And that's the issue.
Yes.
The issue, yet again, is the failure of much of the mainstream media to question the drone assertion. If the Pentagon spokesperson gets up and says that these are drones being seen over US and UK and other countries' very sensitive military facilities, over the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier in a dock in Hamburg in Germany, that's a national security threat. That's a bigger threat than any kind of balloon being seen over the continental USA in February 2023.
I should know, I've had plenty of balloons in my life.
23, as we know. So why isn't it being aggressively reported and investigated by the media? Well, because much of the media allows itself to be tamely led by the nose by their intelligence sources. They don't want to burn their sources who are giving them cozy little stories about Ukraine, about Russia, and they're allowing themselves actively to
It's like they like to use Russia, like it's Marsha for the Brady Bunch. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but just saying it sounds the same.
Misled. The same organisations that misreported
Marsha
on the Iraq War and have misreported on intelligence issues for much of the last 60 or 70 years. It's time for the public to start asking questions itself, to start doing our own research, our own independent investigation. And to that effect, I want to commend some work done by an organisation called Enigma Labs, with whom I had a very brief flirting association. I got to know them really well in their very early days. But they've done some great work. They've been investigating the orbs and spheres that have been seen over the continental USA. And they made a point of mentioning that in Arrow's November report, they showed that orbs and spheres are frequently reported, with most sightings occurring between 15,000 to 25,000 feet. And what they went on to report, that they've been speaking regularly with fighter pilots, active service fighter pilots at US Air Force bases. And these men and women are telling Enigma, anecdotally, that the sightings of these metallic-looking spheres in particular are concerningly still continuing. Often multiple times a day they're appearing when they're flying and doing training exercises. They're saying, again consistent with what Arrow told the Pentagon and told Congress, they're appearing between 24,000 and 28,000 feet, which is a lot higher than most commercial drones. If this is a foreign adversary actor, it's using technology.
Which usually, our drones usually go about at most 3,000 feet at the highest. And, but I say some only like 250 feet. But I mean, the best one is like 3,000 feet, I believe. Most is like 250 for the smaller ones, stuff like that. 250 plus. But the military, something like that.
Far beyond what we know commercial drones are capable of. Now, we know that those kind of long-range, long-distance drones exist because the US has been using such autonomous drones for a very long time in warfare. But it does raise the possibility or probability, if this is a foreign adversary, that these are extremely grave incursions. But it gets more interesting in what Enigma reveals. They did an analysis on these spheres and orbs to see what they could learn, and they discovered that there's been an incredible number, a total of 6,226 total orb or sphere sightings were submitted to the Enigma Skywatching Network between December 2022 to September 2024. So that's just under 2 years. 6,226. And when they ruled out ones that were a little bit more uncertain...
Those are just the ones that got reported, the ones that were seen and stuff. Probably 10 times that many. Oh, God. No, not 10 times. I'd say double or more. I'd say about 4 times.
There were 4,467 approved orb sightings that they were able to confirm were genuine sightings. But this is the good part. When they drilled down further, they found 322 metallic orb sightings. They were metallic, metal, or silver orbs. Now, Reality Check fans will recall that we've taken a very, very close interest in these metallic orbs. I've reported on a guy in Texas who claims that he has a silver sphere, which he has seen operating and moving under its own steam. And I've had, since then, a ridiculous number of people contact me from all over the world who tell me that they've been seeing metallic spheres across Europe, Eastern Europe, Africa, India, Australia, and a lot of the continental USA. But have a listen to some of this more information from Enigma, because there's been a lot of metallic spheres reported by military pilots adjacent to or over very, very sensitive continental USA military bases. So at the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base Fort Worth, Enigma reports on the 1st of August 2023, a metallic sphere was seen flying low, then disappeared into the sky. Near Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State in May 2023, a silver grey sphere flying at low altitude. July 2024, a 3-foot-high shiny oval. January 2024, a silver ball following a plane. Several sightings also near Eglin Air Force Base, which we've reported on, in Florida, June the 4th, 2024. Silent silver orbs in formation. And again, June 12th, silent silver craft appears after a flash. Now, John and Jerry Tedesco, who we reported on from Long Island, they got an intriguing image of what looks like an orb literally tailing a commercial aircraft as it either exited or entered JFK Airport on the approaches to New York. This is a concern. These are objects operating inside highly sensitive airspace. God help us if there's a collision involving one of these objects and a commercial or military aircraft. That's why this is an issue. That's why Ryan Graves' Americans for a Safe Aerospace is such an important initiative. And that's why civilian and military pilots need to stop worrying about the stigma and start reporting these objects more. So it's to be applauded, frankly, that Enigma's getting reports like these. And I'd certainly like to hear from anyone who's seeing these metallic orbs in particular. They're very interesting because they have no visible means of propulsion. They don't display a heat signature showing either a propeller or a jet turbine. Nobody can see a seam on them. Nobody can explain how these things propel themselves, but multiple people are seeing them in our skies. Why do we continue to ignore this as a national security issue? We jump up and down and get hysterical about it.
And people in a stupid government or stupid politicians and people that, just talking about that we just had are calling it drones. And that we need to have, our skies shut down and militarized, and it's a psyop. It's a psyop to close things down and people not be able to use it, and say that we need bigger, more powerful weapons. It's part of the military-industrial complex to create more weapons to kill and destroy, and to say that, and to call it drones where they're not all drones. there are other intelligent races that use UFOs that do have different colored lights. And then you can tell right there that those are some drones as well, look like. Of course, it's hard to see because they're not like right in front of us, and we can't gauge their distance. We can't mathematically, see their size and how far away they are and how close they are or may not be. And it's very hard to really judge everything because everything is really speculation, except for ones that are solid. Those that they're not to drones, but the ones that are triangular, you know, those look human re-engineered, and they may not be. They may be ET. They could be drone technology, re-engineered, but
about Chinese balloons entering American aerospace in February 2023, but we don't talk about metallic spheres. Why is the media allowing itself to be so controlled and gagged?
Yes.
Why doesn't somebody at the White House briefings for the president or the Pentagon briefings develop a spine or a new pair and actually start asking questions? Well, hang on a moment. What is all this? What are these drones?
Yeah, why is the media, the news media, fixing this whole thing and saying that's an invasion from another country when it's not all so? This has been happening before drones. Okay. So they're going to lie to you and everybody else and say, this is Russia, this is China, and only a small percentage is, them or Iran or whatever. I don't know if Iran could get all the way over here. I think, I'd say they could have a few things if they wanted to, be a waste of money and time and resources. If anything, they just do say they could do it, it'd be a colossal waste. But, anyways.
You say these are drones. Why do you say they are drones? What evidence have you got they are drones? If these are metallic orbs or spheres being seen by your pilots, and if you think that's nonsense, why are you putting pilots in charge of $100 million aircraft if you think they're lunatics? This is the issue. It's time for the media to start asking seriously aggressive and hard questions, because we are being misled and lied to. That's the issue. So please keep your sightings coming in. I am overwhelmed. I'm very, very interested to hear more. And I can tell you there's something in this. But at the moment, I'm not ruling out the likelihood that these are foreign adversarial drones that have developed some kind of advanced technology that is able to operate with impunity over some of the most sensitive airspace in the world. If that's the case, it's a huge concern. It's actually, frankly, it's a bigger concern if it's Russia or China than it is if it's friendly aliens. Because if it was aliens, and if they were malevolent or ill-disposed, I'm pretty sure they could have wiped us out a while back. So what else are we talking about on Reality Check this week? Well, as you know, I've been in Egypt for the last few weeks. It's been a fascinating journey, and I've got a lot to report. And we're preparing a couple of shows which will be going to air in the next few weeks. But in the interim, I thought it was time, because of the mounting number of questions I'm getting on my website and on my YouTube channel, I thought it was time I started addressing some of the questions that people have long been asking. So let's deal with some of those, the Q&As from our audience. The first one is from @ZSKI1. Do we know if these are high-tech military drones and UAPs have flashing lights and no one is questioning that? He makes the point. Absolutely right. Look, we've kind of addressed that already. We don't know if these are high-tech military drones. My sources are telling me they are. I don't necessarily believe them. I think we should be skeptical.
I know more than most people do about this stuff, and I know how the government lies, how they're kazoos. uh, and they don't want to admit that there are extraterrestrials, not human intelligence here because it takes away all their power. And we have psychopaths, running the government that want to hold on to that power and keep everything human and say they want to keep a war machine going. They have their own narrative, their own agenda, and stuff like that. So,
I mean, in one of the cases I've seen, you've seen a F-16 jet reportedly engaging with what looks like a luminous orb, and presumably the jet is operating at near supersonic speeds, and that orb was able to outstrip the speed of that jet considerably. Explain that, please, with known drone technology.
That's not true.
One question that comes up next is from AUGGIED6760. One question that is not asked is who protects and conceals UFO and alien evidence? Who does this and who carries on with this suppression in successive generations? Who heads and operates this covert and secret organisation? Okay, let me be on the level here and say that if you'd asked me that question 3 or 4 years ago, I would have thought you were a raving lunatic, a tinfoil hat nutter. I now think your question is entirely reasonable because I do believe that there is a cabal of individuals, and they are individuals. They're not departments or entities, they are individuals, carefully selected individuals who believe that they are entrusted with a national secret and they're determined to keep it, even if it's operating illegally in defiance of the...
And one way they could do that is to use contractors, and it's multi-generational, and there's like there's a collective, and they have also universities involved, and they have aerospace companies involved, non-military, military involved with that. Places that do with DARPA, and there is a selection process, and they usually show people, hey, ask you, what can you do with this thing here? Tell us what you can do with it, whether if it's an alloy, if it's a type of metal. I had one guy named Tom. He worked at a metal place, and some stuff was classified. It still is, and there's stuff at these places, and you'll have intelligence and people that deal with secret technologies, and they'll go to these metal companies and say, hey, what can you do to make this lighter? What can you do to make any improvements on this with these metals or these technologies to where we can use it for ourselves or re-engineer it? But it goes back to contractors and stuff like that, where they have no oversight. They're not adhered to the Senate, the House, Congress and stuff like that, oversight. They can get away with having all that secrecy, and they have 50,000 troops. They have their own special forces. You have people from special forces. You have intelligence, all that stuff with them. So they have their own bases as well. I think they're one of the biggest threats to democracy are these contractors, because they're easy to subvert and go around Congress and everything, and to keep things secret. So there's so many different channels.
Oversight rules of Congress. I think there are people in the US Air Force who know full well that we are being visited by a non-human intelligence.
Yeah, we do have naval officers. We have some Air Force. The biggest that I know of is naval intelligence that work with ETs and stuff like that. Air Force as well. Maybe a few of the Army. I'm trying to think back. That work with them and stuff. And also, you have people in intelligence that are making money off of this. And they're to keep it secret if they can make money off of this. And people need to look into where they're getting this money, where they're putting money into. And they're making a lot more than their office is giving them. And that's because they're investing in these, reverse technologies, in stocks of different companies, stuff like that. And you have these non-human technologies being swapped back and forth with aerospace companies, military, industrial companies, etc., etc., etc. So,
how do we explain the statement that was made by Dr. John Kozlowski, the new and very well spoken for incoming director of AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, who gave evidence to Congress in November, asserting that there is no evidence of extraterrestrial visitation to planet Earth? Well, I want to make the point. I think it's entirely possible that Dr. John Kozlowski is being lied to by people
He's not being lied to, he is a liar. He's a piece of shit liar. He knows.
The program who know full well what's going on. And I wouldn't be surprised if, since his November appearance, Dr. Kozlowski has been apprised of much more interesting information that perhaps has changed his perception. And it would be...
I gotta tell people over and over, do not trust anything the government tells you. Never. They've killed people to keep ETs and UFOs a secret. Never, ever trust anything the military or the government tells you.
Be interesting to see him put under oath and questioned more rigorously by a Congress that is now more aggressively pursuing this subject with its bit between its teeth. I am told that there are individuals in the US Air Force who have been concealing this secret for years. It's largely driven out of the US Air Force because of the US Air Force's control of the subject since the 1940s, and indeed probably a lot earlier. Another thing I've learned very recently is that it is very, very likely that the US has had possession of non-human technology since even before 1941, Cape Girardeau, and possibly even before the magenta object was retrieved by the Italians in the 1930s. I wouldn't be surprised if the US has had technology since the turn of last century. Go figure. But what has happened, I believe...
That's from secret societies that we've had.
...is that there is a presidential executive action directive. I think they're called PEDS. Forgive me if I've got that acronym wrong. I really don't care. I'm sure there will be somebody who will pick me up on it. But for those of you who were following Michael Schellenberger's evidence in the Congress when he gave evidence under oath to the Congress in November, he referred to a program known as Immaculate Constellation, which, it is my understanding, is a very small part of a whole series of secret codename programs that constitute what we would call the legacy UAP program. But nonetheless, it's a very significant one. And I am now aware of who Mr. Schellenberger's source is. I realise now I was speaking to that source many, many months ago. I wish them the best. I will be protecting their confidentiality.
It itches my
I can
nose.
tell you, I can vouch for who they are, and I think the fact that they have come forward is extraordinarily significant. But anyway, just to make the point, when Schellenberger made the statements under oath to Congress that he believed that this Immaculate Constellation was a program that was protected by secrecy by the Defense Department, it was formally denied by the Pentagon that Immaculate Constellation is a special access program controlled by the Department of Defense. And you know what? The Pentagon's spokeswoman was telling the truth. And I suspect she knows full well what the real story is. And the real story, I am told, very, very reliably, is that there is a presidential order, action directive, whatever you want to call it, that was signed in or around 1954 by President Eisenhower that enshrined the secrecy of the legacy.
And this goes back. Eisenhower's granddaughter was talking about how Eisenhower and E.T.'s the Northern Alliance, E.T.'s made an agreement to share technology for abduction, stuff like that. They give us something if we gave them something unhindered. That has to do with them creating a hybrid alien ET race. As long as we wouldn't harass them. If they wanted to, they could just kill all of us. They could do it by force. They didn't have to make an alliance with us, but they did. They could destroy all of our aircraft and weapons. But that's what happens. But I believe that's. And that was done here at Muroc, Edwards Air Force Base. Where Eisenhower met with them.
The UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program. This has been kept a secret, even from Congress, in breach, by the way, of Article 1 of the US Constitution, which requires that Congress have oversight of everything it's paying for.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
This has been done in breach of those congressional oversight rules because of this somewhat lame and, I think, unsupportable presidential order since the 1950s. And I think that it's going to be a very interesting...
It wasn't just Eisenhower, though. It was Truman as well. Truman knew about the 1947 crash. He created the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. And, then there was NASA as well. And there's two different sides of NASA. There's the classified and the public part and stuff, and created to deal with ETs, including international espionage, subterfuge, stuff like that, foreign intelligence, as well as having to do with ET intelligence and stuff like that. The FBI didn't want the CIA involved, stuff like that. Hoover, he wanted control of a lot of this stuff, but that's a different video and everything else. So.
Day of reckoning when Congress finally, if it ever does, develops the spine to ask the question of the White House: is there a presidential order which has essentially allowed this issue to be kept secret at White House level for many, many decades? And if that's the case, how do we justify...
If it is under presidential order, it'll be under secret societies as it has been before, with the other technology that we've had before the 50s or 40s. That have had special access and has had retrieved technology. So there's going to be some kind of secret society have, or program or a group that's gonna have this stuff secret.
That commanders-in-chief, like Barack Obama, like Jimmy Carter, like Bill Clinton, notice they're all Democrats, asked the hard question, is there a secret UAP program? And they were told there wasn't. Certainly Obama was during his administration, and so was Clinton. But they've found out differently subsequently. They know they were being lied to, and they were being lied to because of this ridiculous presidential executive order. On what basis, you would ask yourself, and I'd love a constitutional lawyer to answer this.
Like I said, we have government and secret forces at work that are psychopaths that want to make money off of this, and they want to use it just for military applications. They don't want, and even I love knowing a lot about this stuff more than most other people. I love having an edge on people. I love having that. But at the same time, the truth needs to be out there and everything else. And these are evil people that have killed others to keep it a cold-blooded murder. And they say that, there was a crash that killed them, or they call it suicide. And they tell the coroner or whomever to list it as such, or else bad things could happen to them. So,
question: on what basis could a former president or a previous president lock in a lie to all futures commanders-in-chief to stop them from being briefed into this program? On what basis was that a good idea? Last time I checked, America is a democracy, nominally. On what basis could a commander-in-chief requesting information about the UAP legacy program be denied that information? And that's what I'm alleging happened and continues to happen. Presidents have been lied to. Congress has been lied to. That should be an issue for the American public.
And
by the way, the American public should be asking themselves, what about the JFK assassination? Is there a link between the UAP issue and JFK's murder by the national?
There is. There's the deep state. And with JFK, it shows the blackness, the darkness. And I see total black, pitch black darkness, demonic type energy in a way of a veil, a curtain, a black curtain, and black smoke, mirrors, and the mob was involved in that. The FBI and CIA was involved in JFK and RFK and other things. If you don't play ball with them, they'll kill you. At least, with these entities, these secret societies that are inside government, they're these think tanks and keeping these things a secret. Kabul, the cabal, and everything of all this.
National security state, which I'm in no doubt happened. I do not for one moment believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was a lone assassin. And
he was programmed. He was. We had programs with, He was a part of a program with the CIA. It wasn't just part of the, Manchurian candidate stuff like that, that goes along with that, but there's actually programs being made, along with, us having psychic programs where you could put in memories, false memories. You could take out memories, put stuff in. It goes beyond brainwashing. You just totally reprogram a person for a while. And after they get done with that mission, they forget who they were as a tool. And they snap back to their original self. That's what happened with Lee Harvey Oswald, is that it was part of a CIA program. I've done reports on it before, put out proof and receipts on it, but I don't remember where all the stuff is now. I lost a lot of stuff on that when I lost my home, so I had papers and stuff and everything. But
multiple sources in the intelligence community tell me I'm right. I think when we resolve the issue of UAPs, when we blow open the JFK files, I think we're going to solve both mysteries. Okay, moving on. Next question. At DAARK, at Dark982, question for Mr. Coulthard. What is your take on why the NHI do not just reveal themselves? Do you agree with the idea that there is an agreement for delayed or complete non-disclosure? Because if true, I would find that to be somewhat confusing behaviour on behalf of the NHI. I also think that if they were waiting for us to be ready, that maybe we wouldn't be seeing them in our skies, or maybe at all. Thanks for the work you do and hoping to hear your thoughts. Okay, Mr. Dark. I think there's a really interesting explanation that I'm beginning to hypothesize. This is only a speculative hypothesis on my part, but it is based on work that I am doing that is increasingly focusing on what I believe is a consciousness connection to the UAP phenomenon.
UFO.
I do think that there is a link between what we call psychic phenomena, telepathy, or psionics, as is the more neutral term.
Yeah, we all have psychic abilities and everything. Telepathy and stuff like that. I do that in our video. I think I would stop it right here and do a part 2 or whatever. He was telling you guys think there's so many other videos that I'd be doing on stuff. It's just there's so much going on. Anyways, hope everyone's having a good morning, noon, and night, wherever you are. Take care and bless.